It is time to touch our bags and drop our sack on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. It is mailbag time. You got questions, you're in luck because I got answers. We'll answer them all here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. This comes from the live show we do on Wednesday afternoons. Our coverage typically begins at about 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, and we answer these questions in real time. And you may be saying to yourself, man, I would love to be a part of your next mailbag show. Well, folks, guess what? You can too be a part of our next mailbag segment here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe to the channel and join the Noti Gang. Those are the folks that have their notifications turned on. They're the first to know when we have new content here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now. Turn on the Noti Gang. That way you're alerted when we have our news and rumors up, when we have breaking news, when we go live, all of that. Our mailbags right here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now and we'll get started. Dan the Man Miller with a $5 super chat writes in, so is Seattle's defense exposed or you think we can get better? Dan, that's a very good question. And let me put it this way for you. You look at what the Seahawks did the first 3 weeks. The defense was phenomenal. They were fantastic. They were putting up numbers that were similar to what the Legion of Boom did in 2013. And we did a whole video breaking that down. And then you look at what they were at this past week without 5 of their key defensive players going in. And then Julian Love also got banged up, so the number got up to 6. I think what it really was that if you want to say the word exposed for this Seahawks defense, yeah, they got exposed in the sense of, all right, that's what the defense is going to look like without 6 players. Without half your defense, yeah, it ain't going to be pretty. It ain't going to be pretty good when you put out a JV team on the football field. Sure, you're going to have some problems. That's what it exposed, was that some of these backups just aren't up to snuff against one of the better offenses in the NFL. There's not much more to read into it. They just need to get healthier. That's all I think it really is. But it's a good question, Dan. Thanks for asking. Buster's Customs, the king of Seahawks Today. I don't know if we've called him that officially, but he might as well be now. The king of Seahawks Today, Buster Customs, with a $5 super chat writes in, do you think they emphasize in practice this week tackling? I mean, they have to. Mike Macdonald's a defensive coach. He is not going to be happy with that effort that we saw with all those missed tackles. I go back, and as I was rewatching the footage from Monday night of what occurred in this game, there was so many plays that the Lions had breakaways, whether it was through the passing game or the rushing game, where it was simply just missed tackles time and time again, where plays that should have been limited to 5 or even 10 yards turned into 40, 50, 60-yard plays because you didn't wrap up, because you didn't do your job. So, yes, I think that tackling will be an improvement. It is something that I think in today's NFL, one of the things that I've noticed that I've spent a lot of time looking at, since they've adjusted the rules within the last several years of the lack of 2-a-day practices and just the less time they're spending in training camp compared to before, the less preseason snaps than before, what has been a result, and this is not just a Seahawk problem, this is league-wide, is that typically speaking, in about the first month of the season around the NFL, tackling is piss poor, and it gets better as the season goes along. So that will naturally improve just by these guys being on the field more. Seth, with a $5 super chat, writes in, with all the injuries to our defense, does Mike Macdonald start simplifying the scheme and play calls or keeping it the same? I don't think simplifying things is going to be what you're looking for. You're not trying to subscribe to the Michael Scott, KISS method, keep it simple, stupid here. That's not what you're looking to do. What I think you're looking to do is get more creative. All right, if this doesn't work, let's try this new idea. Let's expand things to this regard. I don't think you're trying to simplify it. I think you got to find more ways to get creative, and I think Mike Macdonald is certainly a defensive genius. He'll find ways to do so. Seahawks for Life writes in, could the Seahawks trade for Ennis Rakestraw Jr. of the Detroit Lions? Saw this name pop up as someone on the trade block for the Lions. So interesting enough, Seahawks fan for life. I saw that too. I was reading an article in Athlon this week about how the Lions have not really used him. Remember, they used a second-round pick on him, and he's barely even seen the field at this point. And you think that Lions defense isn't very good either, so something doesn't add up. Why is he not getting playing time for a guy that was picked as high as he was? And if that is the case, if they've already given up on him, they're not going to get that second-round pick in return. So you think the trade value has gone down a bit. The Seahawks, when you look at the corner position, beyond Devin Witherspoon and Rick Wolin, have some real question marks. If the Lions are seriously considering shopping Rakestraw Jr., I'd be, by all means, give him a shot. I think the sample size is far too small to simply just give up on him and say, well, he hasn't done much. Well, he hasn't been given a chance. If he is on the trade market, by all means, why not? It's not going to cost you a ton for a guy that some people had a first-round grade on last draft. Should Seattle trade for Rakestraw Jr.? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know. T for trade, P for pass. You be John Schneider, and let us know what you think. Big Bob Johnson writes in. Sounds like the Packers are looking to move on from Andre Dillard. Could he end up in Seattle? So it's an interesting situation with Andre Dillard. Packers brought him in from the Tennessee Titans, and he got beat out. He's not on the football field. He's been their backup left tackle. And you look at the Seahawks situation, it has not gotten any better. You did bring in Jason Peters, but if we're being realistic, he's 42 years old. Father Time's undefeated. I know that he played okay last year, but two questions when it comes to Jason Peters, when eventually he gets activated and gets elevated here, is number one, is he still going to play okay? Or is Father Time going to catch up with him where he plays like ass? And then number two, can he stay healthy? Can his body hold up at 42 years old? I have my doubts, and I think I'm very reasonable in saying that. Meanwhile, Andre Dillard, I think you can get for pennies on the dollar. His grades weren't overly impressive last year. Was better in run blocking compared to pass blocking with a 56.6 grade compared to a pass blocking grade of 47.4. Overall grade of 51. He's better than a lot of options you got right now. I sure am not happy with what I've seen from Stone Forsythe. He needs to get off the football field. Doesn't look like Abe Lucas is coming back anytime soon. Doesn't look like George Fant is going to be on the football field. At this point, what do you have to lose? If Andre Dillard's available, by all means, give Green Bay a call. See what they want for him and potentially go from there. Should the Seahawks trade for Dillard? Y for yes, N for no. Is that a move Seattle should make? Chime in, let us know in the comments section. Byron Murphy jerseys on sale now. Get yours today, chatsports.com/Murphy. Got the home blue uniform, got the road white, got the alternate jerseys as well. Go see for yourself. We got some free shipping available. Chatsports.com/Murphy to get yours today. We also have other Seahawks gear available at that same link. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Murphy. Men's and women's options, all different shapes and sizes. Chatsports.com/Murphy. Buster's Customs, the king of Seahawks today, makes his return with a $10 super chat. Do you think the Hawks can clean up the play with fewer flags? So I pulled up the numbers on this when it comes to the penalty situation. Let's break this down piece by piece. So penalties per play. Seahawks are ranked 25th in the league at 0.06. Penalties per game, 26th in the league at 8 penalties a game. Penalty yards per game, 24th in the league at 63.3 yards given up. That's essentially 6 extra first downs you're handing to the opposing team with the amount of penalties you're giving up. Penalty yards per penalty, 7.9. That's 17th best in the NFL. And with all that said, when you try to dissect it a little bit, what is the overwhelming issue? when it comes to these penalties, it's, you guessed it, the offensive line. And from what I've seen, all the holding penalties, the false starts, the occasional block in the back here and there, I'm not optimistic that it's going to get any better. Should it get better? In theory, yeah. You need to clean up that shit. Yeah, in theory. But are they going to? I'm not getting my hopes up, to be honest. Cheverton writes in, do you think they will run up the middle again? Referring to the Seahawks rushing attack, I mean, yeah, I would think you would run up the middle again. You got Kenneth Walker. You should be running up the middle. Wherever Kenneth Walker wants to go, wherever he sees an opening, I trust his vision. I think he ought to do his thing. So, yeah, I think that we will see the Seahawks not give up on running up the middle, that they should be able to do that. Last question. CFan for Life writes in, hashtag Seahawks, with the Vikings having J.J. McCarthy and the Sam Darnold renaissance, what are the odds, I think, of the Seahawks acquiring him next year? He's around Bo Nix's age. I don't think the odds are very high. I like what I've seen from Sam Darnold. I think that in all reality, what my guess would be is that there's a pretty decent chance the Vikings bring Darnold and J.J. McCarthy back, because J.J. McCarthy is still very young and coming off injury. If Sam Darnold is going to play at a high level, like he has been, if he doesn't slow down, then if you're the Vikings, why not run it back again with Darnold until J.J. McCarthy is fully ready, till he's fully healthy, until he's learned the offense? Because you think about this with J.J., sure, he's getting to sit and watch and see a veteran like Sam Darnold play at a high level, but he's not getting the snaps out there in practice. He's not getting the time to learn this offense in real time with the offense. They're losing that year that they were hoping to have. And so next year, they could do it again, I think, potentially, bringing back Darnold, bringing back J.J. I don't think either one. If I was Minnesota, I don't think I'd make either one available. I think I'd bring them both back if I was the Vikings at this point. We'll see what they do. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today. Make sure to join us coming up on our watch party on Sunday afternoon, 12:30 Pacific. We'll see you then.